Okay, back at it again. Fighters University, episode 4. We were able to track Eddie Too Smooth. He was he was astral traveling.
Yep. I had to get in the cockpit. I'm here. Just got done talking with Elon. I'll be back. I'll be back soon, guys.
Right, they're too busy terraforming Mars. But yeah,
I'm using those Martians as sparring partners out here. You know.
Right. Okay, so I guess we can run through. It's been a couple weeks since we recorded, but there have been some fights. To be fair, nothing really that notable. If anything, right, the things that were notable were the things that kind of happened that weren't really quite fighting. Like, I guess we'll talk. So we'll talk about like 2 weeks ago. It was like Brian Battle, and right, I believe his name is like Enge Lose. Is how you pronounce his name, the African guy. But they. So I guess like Eddie, like what did you? I guess if you want to just recap like what happened like to the viewers for that.
Right. So I guess they're fighting, and I guess typical eye poke. Obviously, you see eye pokes. You got the crowd that goes, "Oh, boo!" But this is actually one of those times where it was just an accidental eye poke. Something that happened like I think it was either on a clinch or a push off, and he got his eye poked. And what happened is, when the doctor came in, he's telling him like, "Oh," and he's acting like he can't see. So in my eyes. And I'm sure this is how Brian Battle felt at the end, is that, he was I think he was trying to win the fight that way. He was already getting not whooped, but you know how it is, right? You're losing the fight.
I would say definitely like Brian Battle was getting the better of it. Like, because it was what I think I want to say it happened pretty early. Was that like second round?
Second round.
Yeah.
And I think he's thinking that it was gonna go into one of those disqualifications, but they ended up going to a no contest, and then they ended up going at it at the end. I think he ended up telling him like, "You're a pussy for that," and then now all of a sudden he's ready to fight again. He wants to fight. Like, dude, you just have that chance to continue fighting, and so hey, that was one thing that happened. And like I said, man, a lot of times when you get those eye pokes, what are you there for? Are you there to fight, get money, or he must have really not wanted to be there, because anybody would. How many times do you see a guy get an eye poke? Sometimes they can't see, they're already asking to get back in there. Sure. It's like, if that were to happen to you anyways, I know we're all fighting, they're all fighting for like, money and everything, but if it were to happen on the street, you ain't gonna, my eye, so it's like,
I felt like the doctor came in pretty early. Like I think they didn't even really even give him like a full time, or he didn't even have like
he was 5 minutes.
He was saying he couldn't see though. I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah, he was like making a big scene. Like
it's like, come on, dude, can you see or not? He's asking a question. Like, you're doing this, man. The doctor probably said, "Man, fuck this. I got this is it. I already have Brian Battle on my parlay. I'm gonna end this, and he got, and they went to a no contest, so that was thrown off the parlay regardless. But it's true. I feel like when the ref is in you, and he's asking you, this is where focus comes in. Being disciplined. Like if somebody's right in your face and the referee's there, you got to know he's telling you to give me your arms, give me your gloves. You got to do it, because if you do not respond, he's telling you how many fingers, whatever. If you don't respond, that's what you're gonna see. Is
exactly,
because in their mind, is this guy rocked? Is he okay? No, call the fight. Like he can't answer a simple question,
Sure.
And so that goes, it goes, and I think it was funny because I don't know if you saw Michael Bisping. He's like agreeing, like, this guy.
Well, of course, Bisping would say that. Bisping fought like the last half of his career with no eye, with just one eye.
That's crazy though, how that like they didn't even mention it, ever until it was done with his career.
Well, I think he did mention it because he didn't want to. He didn't want to put it into attention,
But were they allowing him? They were allowing him to. But did the UFC know? They had to know, right? Or what?
No, I think from all the stories I've heard from what Michael Bisping was doing is that he would just lie on the eye test. Like you know how you have to take like the eye exam,
Yeah.
and apparently he memorized like all of the eye chart or the chart that they use, so he could get away with like, oh yeah, my vision's like so and so. Like so yeah, because I feel, but the thing is too,
he has a fake
going
eye.
back to that, was that
There's a fake eye in there, right?
it's a fake eye. Yeah. He has pretty much, I want to say he pretty much functionally just has one eye that's actually working. So that's nuts in terms of that. So that's like one extreme. Of course, he wouldn't say anything about eye poke. But like let's go back like in terms of I think you bring up some good points in terms of like the young fighters got to think about is that when the referee's in there, especially if the doctor's in there, that's a critical moment right there. Like as we've seen like in the past year, the wrong thing, if you say the wrong thing, the fight's just gonna get over.
Right.
You try to be funny like a Johnny Walker, and you say you're in the desert.
You're in the desert. Get him out of here.
That's
This
it.
guy
That's
is
it.
This guy thinks he's back riding camelbacks. You know, like we're in the ring. You know, that's true.
Yeah.
One little mistake could just end it. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's a critical moment, and I think that's a thing. Yeah, I feel like the composure and just understanding like how critical like that moment is like if you want to stay in this fight, you gotta have like you gotta have moments in terms of what's happening, or you gotta realize like how important like that moment is. Oh no, looks like the space signal kind of got wonky, but we're still good in here. But I think that's a critical thing. I mean, we all know. I mean, in terms of eye pokes, like eye pokes are pretty critical. Like in terms of that, because it's not like I would say in terms of an illegal strike, I'd rather feel like getting hit in the groin because at least you have a cup on and then it's like that takes some of the damage. There's nothing really covering your eye, like something that gets poked in there. So I think if you are someone that gets like poked in the eye, you are given like time to recover. I feel like if you're given time to recover, you gotta utilize that time. And if they're asking you questions like right away, if you do want to fight, just say you can.
Right.
If that's what you want to do. I just I remember. Do you remember that? I believe it was the Brian Ortega fight. I think it might have been when he was fighting Max Holloway. Remember when he's like all busted up and like Herb Dean's like, all right, how many fingers am I holding? And he's like,
something like that. Weren't they tapping him to know how many fingers there were?
Yeah. And he's like, I think he was like feeling Herb Dean's hands, like, oh, you got 2. Like, no, oh, 3.
Yeah, and then wasn't Herb Dean like, yes, you got it. Yeah, because he messed up like 3-4 times.
I want to say, he messed up. He didn't get it right on the first try.
It's like 2. No, man. How many fingers? 3. Yes, you got it. You're ready to go.
Yes, you got it. Yeah. He's like, but I think that's a thing too. I feel like if it's a ref, like if you're a referee, or if you're a doctor, like typically, especially if you're like a doctor that's at, I mean, if you're in Abu Dhabi, who knows what happens, but like most doctors, I feel they're only gonna stop a fight if it's like actually if they feel like it's actually dangerous for the person, or if the fighter just says that they can't see, they're just gonna go on the side of the fighter because they don't want to be. You don't want to be known as the guy that puts someone out there that doesn't want to be out there. So I think it really comes down to like how the fighter's feeling in terms of that. So, I mean, as angry as they got, really the only guy the Lose like should be angry at is himself because of that. Ultimately, that I mean, of course, fouls happen. I mean, did Battle do it on purpose? I doubt it. I mean, maybe. I mean, people just get. In terms of training, anyone that trains with like small gloves knows that eye pokes just happen. It's just hard. There's just unprotected, like, or there's like uncovered part of your hand, and especially when you're grabbing, when you're striking, like things like that just happen. Can't really say like how like on purpose like that is, but if that doesn't happen to you, you got to realize like what are you gonna do? Because that like just expect that there's no eye pokes gonna happen. Like no, it's that's an unrealistic kind of measure.
You know, one thing I could say is that they do hurt, though. You know,
definitely.
You know, because I've had as of recently, I wouldn't say so recent, but maybe about a year ago, I had like a kid poke me in the eye when we were like upstairs doing the MMA class or sparring, whatever it was.
Yeah,
he poked me, and it was so bad. I mean, obviously, I just went on with it, right? You know, like but I was squinting almost the whole class.
yeah.
And then when I went home, it was like all bloodshot on one side. Like, fuck, man, you know.
For
So
sure.
they do hurt, but in my opinion, does it stop the fight? I mean, unless I see your eye bleeding in the inside, then maybe not. You know what I mean? Like, we want to see, you know, there, because, you know, if your eye is just white, you can tell that there was no damage done to the eye at all. But if you see that there's blood or something, you know, the doctor will know too. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what it is. It's like, okay, this guy doesn't want to respond to me. I'm not going to be that guy to just throw him out there. So everyone's be like, well, hey, he didn't even respond to you. You said he was okay, you know, and so that's why he called him. You know,
think about how bad that looks like for a doctor. If you're like,
you're just to send him back. Like, no, he's good. He's trying to. He doesn't want to tell me anything, but I think he's good. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because we're laughing at Herb Dean, and Herb Dean's like a referee. Imagine like a doctor did that. Like, all right, how many fingers? So, like that guy could. I don't know how getting a license or something. I mean, but hey, that you could lose your business like that, or that seems like something, or reputation alone in terms of that.
Right.
So, I think that's in terms of eye pokes. I'd say eye pokes definitely. I'd say probably worst illegal strike. Like in terms of that, because I guess back in the head you could get knocked out, but
back in the head would be that's talk about back in the head. Were we watching a fight? What was that? That was it, or was no? I don't think we're. Remember?
Oh no, I think I know what you're talking about. I'm talking about like where it's like obviously in the back of the head. Yeah, we're talking. That was on 299. It was Ion Cutelaba, the Hulk guy.
Yeah, okay,
it's so obvious.
On the you know, they let that guy go. That Philip Lins.
Oh, really?
They let him go from the UFC. Yeah, he had 5 straight wins. Let him go.
Damn. Oh yeah. The Brazilian guy that Cutelaba fought.
Yeah, because he was like, what wasn't he like? Was he in his 40s or he was close to his 40s?
I think I want to say he was like 37, 38. And we were talking about, wow, he actually doesn't look that bad for
exactly
for that
close to being 40. I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I could see your elbow in the back of it because that can actually rock you.
That can rock you, and that can do some. Like I mean, as we've seen, like some guy, like there was like a boxer, the guy like rabbit punches, just lost. Like I'd say that's a very dangerous strike. But as far as like, I still think though, when you hit someone in the back of the head, you have to actually use force. Like if you accidentally poke someone in the eye, it doesn't take that much to actually hurt somebody. If you like poke them in the eye, it's like you're just like that. And sometimes like someone's own momentum could be could be used.
Just their hand being out alone.
Yeah.
Is gonna get
exactly the old John Jones special.
Oh yeah, and then Rocky with a 2 right after. You know, just no punch, no.
Yeah. Oh no! Like what was that? Or like as soon as you're blind, just go for elbows just on that side. Oh man, but yeah, I'd say definitely like eye poke's probably the legal strike you want to get hit with the least. But it's still gonna happen. It's gonna be hard. Like. But I think that's why they make such a big deal out of just talk about like you can't just have your hands out splayed out like that,
right?
Like because every rules meeting that we go to now, they always talk about your hands gotta be fingers gotta be facing up. They always make they always talk about like that for like a good 30 seconds.
Well, hey, everyone makes fun of Machida.
Yeah,
no, they're not gonna make fun of Machida no more. He was right. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the thing. It's like the amount of effort it takes to hurt to, actually change that course of the fight is just so low. So I feel like, that kind of strike, that kind of legal strike, legal strikes happen, but it's part of the danger of being a fighter. So I realize like what to do on both sides of that, like especially if you're on the receiving end. So
Yep.
I guess we'll talk about the next illegal strike that happened, or I guess the next illegal thing that happened on like last week's card. So it was I believe the fight Andre Lima and Igor Severino, and
was that his debut?
Yeah, so Severino had won, I believe, in the Contender Series, but that was his first actual in like a UFC like card. Like he had gone on from Contender Series to there, but So the fights happened. Talk about illegal things. I guess like Andre Lima, he was like grabbing the fence. Like I would say like a couple of fence grabs in terms of legal. But so Severino has like a back body lock, and then you just see it was so odd. Like just seeing, I was like what happened? Because it's from an odd place where you're like, oh, is it like did someone like get hit or like what happened to that?
Right, like the view that they showed, you couldn't really
Yeah,
tell.
it's hard to tell just because it just looks like they're grappling. It doesn't seem like anything's really happening. But then like so they get in like kind of a scuffle, like with the ref stops it, I want to say.
Yeah.
And then you just see a bite mark on the
A bad
that.
one, too.
It was pretty evident. I was like, damn, like that's damn, talk about rare. Like I can't really recall. Let's see. Can't really recall really that many bites or that happened, but like
I know who got bit on their chest. Didn't someone get bit on their chest in the
that was
UFC?
like that was Wes Sims, Mike Kyle.
Wes Sims. Yeah, Wes Sims. Remember Wes Sims?
Yeah, I do remember Wes Sims. Yeah,
Wes Sims bit somebody. Or the guy bit Wes Sims.
The guy bit Wes Sims. It was Mike Kyle that bit Wes Sims.
Okay.
And it was funny because they were like known as the dirtiest heavyweights. Yeah. Because Wes Sims was, remember when Wes Sims, I think he stomped on like Frank Mir.
Yeah. That was the first time, right? And then
I want to say that was the first time. And I think Mir came back like didn't Mir like did he sub? I think Mir subbed him the first time, and then next time he like knocked him out because he's like this guy tried to stomp on me. But but that was like way back in it. That was like that was like mid. I want to say mid 2000s. So it's been
so that's before, right? He was before Brock Lesnar, right?
Oh yeah, that was definitely before Brock Lesnar. I want to say that was probably like that was like when Tough, or maybe even before Tough. Like probably was like 2004. Actually, let me take a look at it. But yeah, I remember that for sure. Mike Kyle, Wes Sims. Let's see when that fight was. That I want to say mid 2000s.
Heavyweight era.
Okay, that fight was 2004.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So.
Dude, the funny thing is, it looks like Mike Kyle won by KO in the first round. But I did. He bit him and then knocked him.
And then they stopped it and they still continued?
Because this is what I remember. I remember Sims like after the fight, like, hey, that just to say, showing the camera, hey, that guy bit me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then you see, apparently,
you know what I mean? That's crazy.
Oh,
and remember the guy afterwards, he's like, when they're looking at him, the guy is like, no, I'm not bite him. This is like, what do you mean, bro? Like, yes, you did. The referee's like, yes, you did, motherfucker. Like, don't lie to me.
Like who else could have bit him? It's like it's just a fresh. It's just a.
And it was. Did he have a mouth guard?
See, that's the thing. I don't like. How did they got to spit it out because that's the thing with the bite. Because with both these bite marks, you see it's like two. For a normal mouth guard, you're typically just the top is covered. I guess you can still kind of bite with your bottom. But for both of these, like for the one that happened like on last Saturday and also when Wes Sims got bit, you could tell it's like clearly it's like two sets of teeth. Yeah, it's like a real bite mark. So I'm wondering like, what do? You like pull it out and all right, time to bite on this.
Yeah.
I mean,
at the same time, he gotta be a dirty guy because who thinks of that? Oh, I'm gonna bite the guy. Hits the ground out too. I'm gonna bite him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Mike Tyson right now.
Exactly. I mean, that's the most famous bite for sure in combat sports. Like that's
Mike Tyson didn't just bite you. He tried to. He bit his ear off, a piece of it. So
exactly.
That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna bite someone, hey, I guess do it the right way. I guess follow what Mike did. Take a chunk.
I don't know, just take a chunk out.
What leads to that though? Like what in your mind? Possibly.
Why would you go there? And also, like, for what effort? Like what do you think that gets you? I guess for Mike Kyle, it got him a win, but for Mike Tyson, it got him like what DQ'd and like a fine, or he end up like
this guy too as well. He's done out. They dropped him out the UFC.
Yeah, they dropped him. They cut him. Yeah, it's like
he just lost the biggest opportunity. They brought you back from that, so they were gonna bring him regardless, just as for a contender type of guy.
Yeah,
like we're gonna.
You probably get at least like what? What do you think you get? Maybe 3 fights. Probably like nowadays, like
probably at the bare minimum, I don't know,
maybe 2 if you like really bad. Yeah, you just get slumped twice,
right? But or like they could have just left him around like as one of those guys that hey, we're gonna develop and we'll leave him at the bottom and leave him as a contender like Caceres.
Yeah,
who else like Andre Fili? I guess he's gotten better. But then he has his ups and downs.
Yeah, ups and downs. Yeah, but I think Caceres and Fili, I think those are too good because those guys have been in the UFC probably 10 plus years. They wouldn't be what you say. They're not really gonna be in a title, but they're gonna be they're like mid card action. They'll be in there. Yeah.
And hearing those names that you're gonna they're one of those guys. It's like, for example, like when we take fights, okay, there's this guy, we know we're gonna win. Then we got a guy that, hey, you know what? This guy's, if we make a mistake, because he's a contender too, he wants to fight too. So one mistake could lead you there, so
for sure.
And when you win, type of guys, it shows, oh shit, okay, this guy's, he can fight, he's let's step him up,
No, for sure. And I think those are because those are what you call, I mean, I guess it might be bad to call them like journeyman or gatekeeper, but it's like it represents kind of a certain level, like back in the day, like a Jeremy Stevens, right? Like Jeremy Stevens, I don't think he ever fought for a title, but if you beat him, you're probably gonna go. If you don't beat Jeremy Stevens, you're probably not gonna fight for a title. But if you do, you're probably going up there. Or like what's another guy? I feel like Michael Johnson. That's kind of a guy. Like all the, it's funny because all the good guys that beat Michael Johnson, but none of them have really had easy fight like against Michael Johnson. Because it's still even like because Michael Johnson, still got he got a win over Tony Ferguson, a win over Dustin Poirier. Rocked Khabib when they fought.
Did he fight Gaethje?
Yeah, you remember he had that war against Gaethje when he almost knocked Gaethje out. That was like Gaethje's first fight. Remember he almost knocked Gaethje out in like the first.
At the cage. Remember he kept falling. Yeah.
Like,
always gave him a tough fight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, always tough fight. Because I remember that one. That was because. Like Johnson almost knocked Gaethje out, and then he got tired trying to finish him, and then Gaethje like ended up hitting him with like that, that knee he does like against the cage, and then he just dropping him. But that was and it was just so high pace of fight. But that's the thing, like Michael Johnson's like dangerous. He if you like flip a coin, like he could like what if he let's say if he had beat Gaethje or if he had beat like Khabib, think about that, he could have been in a title shot, but like he just happened to lose into like those kind of moments. But that's the thing too. It's like if you look at like a Jeremy Stevens, right? The guys he fought, he I guess he beat like Josh Emmett. I would say probably like his biggest like profile win, I want to say, of his career. But then he lost to like Jose Aldo, lost to
and when he won here too. He came back into that fight because he was getting rocked.
Yeah, he was getting rocked.
And boom, in the exchange. So,
yeah, exactly. But it's just tough wars like that. But like who else was Jeremy Stevens? I think Jeremy Stevens like lost to Frankie Edgar.
Aldo fight him, I think.
Yeah.
And but that was old, was it?
What was that?
Wasn't it old Aldo that beat him?
Oh yeah, it was old Aldo. It was post-championship Aldo that beat him.
Exactly.
Like beat him with a body shot. I remember that.
Yeah. He was rocking him with body shots the whole fight before he decides to give up,
Yeah. Well, because I remember it was like that cartoonish, like it almost looks like a wind up, a bam, and he hit him in the body and then like dropped him. But anyway, we kind of got off topic there. But yeah, you could pretty much like there's no really straight. It's pretty few times is there an actual straight shot into like a title. Sometimes you gotta need to hang around and be in there. Sometimes it's the guys that you don't expect to end up getting into. Like I mean, to be fair, like Dustin Poirier, like he like. If you were to ask me like 10 years ago, like who's going to have a better career, Dustin Poirier or Conor McGregor, like the choice would have been very, very simple, right? You would have think, oh yeah, no way. And nowadays, like there's one guy that's still winning the UFC, and then there's another guy that's like in Roadhouse. So
Roadhouse. I hate to say it too. I didn't care for that movie too much, As much as I'm a Conor fan,
Roadhouse for you, yeah.
Roadhouse, man. Just give me Patrick Swayze. I'll take old school Patrick Swayze all day. Dudes walking around with his chest out all day on the movie. It's like Conor. It's like I wasn't a fan of it. Not too big a fan of that movie. But
And I think Roadhouse is one of those things that was a movie that you could only make in the 80s. Like it doesn't really make any sense right now.
Right. I don't know, like MMA or UFC, this doesn't go in movies. Like to me that's too real. Like it's not the same no more. I don't know, like if you saw that back in the day, oh man, MMA, never back down. But for now, for some reason, it just doesn't seem like, in reality, man, shit, you're doing MMA, so you're gonna break that whole guy's arm. You know what I mean? Like, Just give me a
well,
movie, you know?
I think we're probably not the audience for it. You know.
Yeah, I guess so, right? I guess, I'd rather seen, guys getting flipped around, like,
Yeah.
okay, it's a movie, but
Yeah.
this is like, I don't know, the scenes weren't just for me, like you
Yeah.
said, I guess maybe, there's people who gotta like it, but I wasn't interested.
There must be an audience, or else they would make it. But yeah, I feel like we're not the right audience.
Right. I guess do you think it helps the UFC in some type of way though, or what? That movie or
Maybe I guess it doesn't really hurt because
right?
it's kind of free advertisement. You know what I mean? It's sometimes like I feel like Rocky has probably done a lot for boxing. Like, is it really real? No. Like, no
Right.
boxer would ever want to fight like Rocky, but it gives
Right.
them like free publicity, and it gives them, I guess, like an angle like to show. So there, as long as like, I guess your sport is in
In the movie,
is in the movies and like a
Right, they should
mainstream.
have done a better. Like UFC could have thought of something better to be in than like this type of
But-
movie.
But I would argue with that, like, how good a movie is that really? Like, how good? Like, I mean, I'd say, Rocky. I watch Rocky, but in terms of like how good is that? I mean, yeah, I guess the first Rocky was like, but that was back in the 70s. With like Rocky, like now, or with like Creed, I watch. I mean, we know what real boxing looks like. So you look at it like Michael B. Jordan's not gonna do that shit. It's like, yeah, he's not gonna do that. Like that's a movie. I'm not gonna. But it's like about how captivated are you with the story. But also I'm just surprised that they got Jake Gyllenhaal like to do it, because I feel like that's an actor. I would have thought this would have been more of a kind of like a B movie kind of thing. Like I wouldn't really say that. But I guess
maybe it could be too. I just don't like that guy in what is it, Dillinghall?
Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah.
I don't like him in movies.
Oh, you just don't like him in movies? Yeah.
He did Southpaw. I wasn't a fan of that movie.
Wasn't a fan.
And then,
I guess is he just like, for you? Is he just not like a believable action like guy? Is that it?
Yeah. So yeah, you're looking at him like, this guy can't do shit.
Yeah, and I get what you mean. It's like if you see like a Ryan Gosling or like a like a Zac Efron kind of guy, like in that kind of like, come on, man, you guys don't know, don't know how to fight.
It just didn't match that character, that.
Yeah. If it was somebody like a Jason Statham, you're like, all right, well,
for some reason, like the moves look better too, like.
Well, I feel like too when you see, or we're talking about action, like Hong Kong action movie guys, like when you see Jet Li or Jackie Chan, who's like a modern guy, like Danny Yang, when you see like those guys like actually moving, like, okay, these guys are actual martial artists, or like a Michael Jai White, right? Like when you see a movie, okay, like these guys actually, like, okay, right. Yeah, they're playing in a movie, but if this wasn't a movie, they would also actually know like what to do. Yeah,
they know. Who knows if they're actual fighters, but I mean, just by the looks of it, it's kind of hard not to they can probably kick ass a little bit.
But I think the thing is too is just the athleticism and the body control. You could tell, like, okay, this it's like if you watch like an acrobat, you're like, okay, well, I can't do that, or like there's a high level of skill in terms of doing that. It's always cringy when you see like an action scene from someone that you know like doesn't know how to do anything. You're like, oh, this person can't fight. I don't paper bag. Like there's no way. There's no way this would ever happen. Right? It's like I
think that's what it is. He's just tearing up Conor. It's like, come on now. This guy would get destroyed.
Yeah,
it was funny, like how, like when I'm listening to the commentary, like afterwards he's talking about like how Conor was actually punching him and stuff like that. Yeah. And I was like, shh. He's like, oh yeah, I got a couple punch in the face from him. Actually, it's like, yeah, this guy's probably all coked out at night.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that's the thing, especially if you're so used to hitting somebody, that's gotta be odd to just turn that, because that's the thing. It's like it's gotta be odd to turn that off or try to think, I try to miss. Like when you spend like 10 plus years trying to actually, it's like it's just muscle memory to just like to do so. It's like how real, like speaking of which, like you remember that they had that scene, who was the boxer in Creed, the British guy, right? I forget his name, but you know what I'm talking about, right? He was like the villain in the first Creed. Was it Tony something?
Bello? No, is it Bello?
I think it might be something Bello, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, he was a British boxer.
Yeah.
But, we'll probably find out his name like later, but you seen like there was a thing of him like dropping like Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, is that real? Or people say, oh, is that real? And I'm looking at it, it's like, oh, maybe not. But it's like also it's a guy that's I mean, that guy is a professional boxer. Like he's an actual boxer. So
it's Tony Bello.
Tony Bello. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
He ends up like dropping him.
Yes. Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like, yeah, Tony Bello, professional boxer, several like a very accomplished professional boxer. Like he's not gonna all of a sudden know how to pull his punches, or that's
Right.
the thing. That's how he made his livelihood. So it's not like he's all of a sudden gonna find a way to drop that. But yeah, man, we really got off topic here. We'll talk about the bites, but it's all right.
Yeah, that's what happened.
we're now talking about. But hey, but that's the thing. Well, I guess we don't need to talk about that guy anymore because he's not the UFC.
Exactly. That's what happened. And that's how irrelevant that guy is. I forgot his name already. I just feel like he was biting guys.
Well, we won't know his name anymore. He'll just be known as the bite guy.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
oh, did you see that the guy that he bit got like a tattoo?
Got a tattoo, and so Dana White gave that guy an extra. He was gonna give him a $25,000 bonus, but then just gave him another 25 just because of that. Everybody was writing like, is that sanitary or is that
Well, getting bit is not sanitary to begin with.
Right.
So
exactly.
yeah, I mean, fighting is just a dirty kind of thing anyway.
Exactly.
So,
It is.
But yeah, I mean,
And this guy made off of that tattoo that he spent $500-600 on, he made 50,000.
Yeah, right. So how mad could you be? Like sanitary. It's like he's in a dangerous stuff already. All right.
So was that the other guy's debut fight as well?
I'm not sure if that was his debut, but let's see.
Because that, that's some, at the end, imagine like, hey man, my debut fight, this guy's biting me. I got 50,000 for that's a tattoo to remember right there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's actually a meaningful tattoo. Someone can't be like, oh, where'd you go? Oh, I was drunk.
Yeah, so it looks like that was also his first like action in the UFC. Looks like he won in the Contender Series as well. So he won in October. So that was his first actual fight in the UFC.
These were like actually, so two guys who fought on the Contenders, they were going at it here, and this was like their debut.
Yeah, it was their UFC debut. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see, Severino. It's funny that they're also both Brazilian, but of course. But
he screwed himself. No, I didn't bite him. Yes, you did.
Yeah, I didn't bite. As there's like a full bite like on there. I guess the guy's like he's like 20, like gonna turn 21. He's got time, I guess. Whatever. Yeah, it looks like he all his other fights were in Jungle Fight. So I guess he's back. Yeah, back in Brazil now.
Yeah. I'm gonna say now he's back out there in the jungles.
Yeah, exactly. That's how he learned. He learned how to fight in the jungle. But I guess talking about like the main event of that one where the guy got bit was Rose Namajunas. She picked up a decision win. Did you get a chance like to look at it or like anything notable like from that matchup between like Amanda Ribas? Yeah.
No, like I said, I'm not even gonna lie. Didn't even when I saw that matchup, didn't bother watching. But like I said, from what the highlights I saw, I'm not really too impressed with how Rose has been looking throughout her career. At this time, you're just kind of actually shocked that she's fighting, Amanda Ribas. You know what I mean? You're like, it's like, for what? It's like, what is this? What is she doing with her career at this point? As a fighter.
It seems very confusing. Why is she at flyweight? It like kind of makes no sense because it's not like she's like a huge. If she was she's not like an Andrade or someone that's like overly muscular. Like, oh yeah, how does she? And,
you got that. Because pretty much everyone in that division is a little bit stockier.
Yeah,
you know what I'm trying to say? You can even if they're taller, obviously they're tall because of the weight. But majority of those girls are kind of like kind of built. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they got shoulders, they're like kind of stocky. Half of them are like lesbians. You know what I mean? So they're all like kind of like. So
I mean, they're all muscular, or at least they're like, or even like a Valentina. Like Valentina, I mean, she was like small at bantamweight, but when she got the flyweight, you're like, okay, there's no way she can go down. Like, there's no way she could ever make strawweight. You know what I mean? Like this is like it's like she has a frame. Like she's like in terms of that. or you have yeah. Whereas like you got Rose. I mean, Rose, like even like Rose at like strawweight. I mean, she wasn't small, but I
Right.
wouldn't say she was like, oh, like overt, like, oh yeah, she's just physically like over the top. I'd say she was
Right.
like she was physically like pretty physically like, on par. Like she's like what? She's probably about as tall as Joanna. I mean, taller than like Wei Li, but like less muscular
Right.
than like Wei
Exactly.
Li. Basically, I feel like Wei Li would probably be better. Like if like it would make sense like the other way around. Like if Wei Li like moved up to like flyweight, I'm like okay, I could see that because
Yeah,
she
you
has a stocky build.
get your body too, you know.
Yeah, like she can actually build muscle and like go on to like what Andrade, like Andrade is either at strawweight or flyweight, and that makes sense. Like I mean, she fought all the way up at bantamweight, so that
Right.
kind of makes sense. She has like the frame for it. But I think another thing too, just in terms of size, like in terms of like how she fights, I don't even think that it doesn't. Okay, I guess it kind of makes sense if you're trying to like build up, or if you had more power, if you had more speed. But it doesn't even really seem like that. Like I don't
Right.
really think, doesn't really seem like she's really dropping people or has like that much pop. Like in terms of like why would you move up? And I think if anything, the thing it always seemed like to me in terms of like Rose's weakness or how Rose got like how she got beat. I think she got beat by people manhandling her or like kind of like just ragdolling her, right?
I was like, yeah, it's always been someone that's been dominating her. So what's the point of it?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. It's like
Why
yeah.
go
So why
up?
would you move to a weight class where the people are even bigger? Like I guess
Yeah.
I think like her loss, like I guess she lost. Yeah, she lost to Carla Esparza, who really wasn't that big, but like out grappled her, like and submitted her. She lost to I guess she lost to Karolina Kovacevic, who really
Okay.
wasn't that large. I mean, it was kind of a size parity, they're kind of same size, but I felt like Kovacevic kind of just outmuscled her in the clinch and kind of just like outdogged her in that fight.
Right.
And then, of course, the famous one with Jessica Andrade, who just slammed her, who just rampaged her like on there.
Yeah.
So it's like
just right on top of her head too, right?
just right on top of her head. So it seems like okay, if you're like if you know that you're kind of that's the thing because I felt like okay, she's strong, but she's not the strongest. So if you're not like, why would you want to move up a weight class? Because then that would be like if Frankie Edgar did the opposite of his career. Like if he started at bantamweight, you're like, you know what, time to go to lightweight. I'm getting outsized by these guys, so trying to get more ragdoll. It's like
it's like you said earlier. It's not like she had pop. You know, everyone that usually has pop and knocks out people, you have no question like, oh yeah, they can go up the next one because they're just knocking out everybody right here.
Yeah.
You know, they're probably gonna knock out people when they go up too, but that's not the case with her. You know, it's like you're kind of just. That's what I'm saying. I just don't understand what's the. I guess she's just one of those fighters there that's they'll always keep around.
Yeah,
because
of her name value, like in terms of like female fighters, like she's probably top 3, top 5. Well, no, because like what do you think? We think female fighters is like there's Rousey, there's Nunes. You think of there's I guess Holm. They always give Holm like
Miesha Tate.
Yeah, Miesha Tate. Like
that's about it.
And I mean Rose is right up there. Like I wouldn't say like
oh yeah, I mean you know she. You know, when you talk, she's gonna has to be one of them.
Yeah.
That, you know, and the main reason is because she kind of did what the Holly Holm did to Rousey in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, she stole her momentum, right?
Right.
Like when she beat Joanna, she took all of like Joanna's like star power.
And she was a champ for a little while because in the rematch she beat her again. Yeah. And you know, so she had that reign for a little bit, almost something like Holly Holm. She won once and then was done with it one time, right?
Yeah, if anything, I think Rose, if you look at the careers of all those, I think, okay, the only one that really has it better, probably Nunes. Nunes probably has a better like career in terms of championships. And I think probably Valentina has more like defenses. But like, I think Rose is probably like third most accomplished, like in terms of like women's like MMA history. I'm trying to think of someone that has more chance. Probably, okay, Rousey. So I guess like still top 4, like probably in terms of that. Like
the thing that I feel like Holm will be above her, like in that sense, just because of who she beat. You know, you know, Rousey beat. I mean, Rousey was super. She was supposed to beat Mayweather's ass. Everybody on her, you know,
because of the hype.
And, you know, and the funny thing is, I used to live in Hawaii at that time, and everybody there thought that. And I was just so in shock. I used to tell people, "You guys gotta be kidding me!" I was like, Mayweather would rock her. They're
Right,
like,
right.
oh, if you were to get a hold of them, like, I don't even understand what you guys are saying.
Right, right. But I think that's a thing. It's like it's just a hype. You know, people just
Yeah,
fall
her
just fall for that.
superstar, her superstar level was so high at that time.
I mean,
It was
I
amazing.
would still argue that Rousey's still the biggest like female MMA star like ever. Like there, I don't
Yeah,
think
I
anyone's
would say if you talk women MMA, I would say okay. If you're talking to me, I would get.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit older.
Yeah.
First person that's coming to my mind is Chris Cyborg. It's gonna
Oh
be
yeah,
Cyborg.
for sure. But
That's
that's
my
the thing. We're actually in fighting, so we know who's actually like. Yeah, of course,
Exactly.
Cyborg. Yeah.
But I would say as a casual, or I would say maybe a kid coming up, you would have to be like, I don't know what, maybe 13, 14 at this time, maybe. Then you think Ronda Rousey because you just don't know no better,
Yeah.
right? You wouldn't have seen, you wouldn't even know who Chris Cyborg is or what the history about her is because you just weren't around,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Oh, for sure.
you know,
Yeah, because in terms of accomplished MMA, no one really has Cyborg beat. Cyborg like started before all of these women, and she's still fighting now. So
exactly.
it's like,
So, you know, and you know, yeah, of course she fought Nunez way out of her. I would like to have, you know, we would never have seen it at the time because Nunez was probably 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you know, I mean, we gotta all remember when she was out there fighting, we used to think of her as like, God, we used to say in our head, there's nobody gonna beat Cyborg ever.
oh yeah.
You know, she was demolished. We didn't even see that in women at the time, the way she came in fighting. She was Vanderlei.
Oh yeah,
She was Vanderlei, you know, she was the woman Vanderlei, you know.
And I think even more so, like, because that was, I think Cyborg was so ahead because think about it, it's like she's been fighting for what, almost 20 years now at this point.
Oh my God,
but think about how far ahead she was. She's still, the fact that she still can compete today just shows how far ahead she was. That'd be like if you put Vanderlei in UFC 1 and she'd be like just messing those people. Like those guys had no idea. Exactly. That's pretty much what like Cyborg was. She was the complete product. And she came in against like a Royce Gracie because that was who she was fighting. It would be like if you put like Vanderlei against Royce Gracie, like in 1990, like that. Oh wow, they're getting whooped. That's just what's gonna happen. Like it's a different breed. That's like a generation. It's like she's been a generation ahead when she started. So that's what I look at that.
And that's I wonder, like, will people talk about Rose Namajunas the way we talk about Cyborg? You know, like, is she gonna be one of those greats? Is she gonna be talked about, or is she gonna be forgot about? Oh wait, she did be Joanna. You know, she it's like, I think people are gonna forget about that reign that Joanna had.
Yeah.
Unless at that time that weight class. Oh yeah, I guess you could have been a casual to know about that. You know that.
Yeah, I guess you could have been a casual to still know about Joanna because Joanna had what 7 defenses before.
Exactly. That's the only reason why you would know her, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you would have to have kind of like make sure you kind of know that history that was there because she was running the show. Here comes this girl. She was like a sweetheart, right? You know, when they show it, she's real quiet, she shaved her head, you know, and then boom, she's with Pat Barry. She's coming down saying, I know I can. I know I can. You know, you know, and you know, she had I remember when that fight also happened, she got another buzz surrounding her, you know, because it brought back Rose, you know, remember. And then what's her name came and shut her down again, I think, with that slam. And she kind of was, I think didn't she come out in that fight as well again? Like,
let's take a look at her career. So okay, I remember. Okay, she beat. So her big come up, of course, was like against Joanna. She won the title. She rematched Joanna, beat her, and I want to say she that's how she faced Andrade, right? Because I think that was okay. Let's take a look here. All right, so she had. So she beat Joanna twice. Okay, so she beat Joanna 217 TKO. She beat her again. Okay, and then she fought Jessica Andrade. And then against Jessica Andrade, she got KO'd. But then she rematched Jessica Andrade like a year later and ends up winning. Oh, a split decision. Oh, it looks like, because Andrade, that's right. Because when she got slam KO by Andrade won the title. But then remember, Andrade fought Wei Li. And then Wei Li beat her. yeah, and then because Whaley beat her with like the first round, and
Right.
then when Andrade and Rose fought again, it wasn't for the title. I think it was for like a number one contender, and then Rose like beat her.
Yeah, because that's how Wei Lee came onto the scene. Like everybody was shocked.
Yeah,
Because remember, she had her on the ground, right? And she like threw her body weight into the last punch, like boom, and the referee like kind of stopped her, like, oh damn, this girl can cry. I know, I was surprised. I was like, whoa, this girl can bang.
yeah,
You know,
and then
like,
she can actually generate power, and that's the thing.
yeah,
Yeah, because
she uses her body. Well, I mean, she hits like a. I mean, the great thing is it looks like she's cracking, but when she's fighting Valentina, you know, Valentina was eating those, you know, she was going at it. It's not like she was dropping her like how she dropped everybody else. You know what I'm trying to say?
Well, I think her sense of distance is not that good, is the big thing. So we're talking about Andrade, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I think that's the thing. I think she's like a very simple, she's like a kind of very simple brawler in terms of that.
And I guess keeping her on the outside, which she does have good footwork and all that. It's like that's gonna be
it doesn't have the footwork in terms of doing so.
Yeah.
It's like you kind of need more than just power. I mean, power is great, but if you don't like know how to, I mean, of course, it looks bad because she's just fighting girls that never had to deal with power. Whereas, like, I feel like Valentina's one of the few people that actually know how to deal, because she came from like a larger weight class too, right?
And
remember, she fought like Nunes twice.
Yeah. Exactly. I was about to say she fought Nunes, who was like 3 times her height. And, you know, like, so.
Talk about knowing how to hit. She's actually like one of the few like women that actually like.
She never got rocked. Never got. Oh, did she ever get rocked?
I don't think so.
I don't remember like in the fight, like her like looking like, oh, she's gonna go out. You know. But you know why, Valentina? One thing that for her experience, she's so good enough to know that I can get hit but not eat the full shot. And I think a lot of people don't know how to do that.
I think that's a rare acquired skill.
Full on like Cheeto Vera taking knees to the face, you know, just full on shots. You know, they don't understand like when you're getting hit, you know, it's okay to like hit and turn your head to like kind of, you know, don't leave your head turned and stuff. But you know, there's a science to that. You know, there is a science to not just getting.
I mean, one of the best to do that is, you know, I mean, he's not Dominic Cruz's top middleweight, but like, you know, Anderson Silva. That's kind of like, you know, just small like movements like that. But that comes with understanding distance, because like how many times did you see Anderson Silva get rocked?
Right, you can't just be right in someone's face and turn your head and think it's gonna work. You know, you're still gonna get crashed.
You can't just do that.
Right. You got to be in certain distance to do that.
Certain distance and knowing that timing. But of course, also Silva also did have a chin. But like, think about all the hard hitters that he did fight though. Like he fought Henderson, Belfort.
I remember I would admit when he fought Dan Henderson, I was standing. I was still young, but I was like standing in the living room, pacing back and forth. Like, oh man, he might get knocked out. You know, like because the way he fought, you know, like this guy catches him, but then. Pretty much made it look easy, you know.
For sure, but that's the thing too. Even if we could rewatch that fight, Henderson probably still landed a bomb on him. That's kind of
he did. He did rock him, didn't he? He did rock him.
I want to say in the first, because he kind of rocked him and dropped him. Like
he kind of like sat down a little bit and then like
maybe not quite rock, but he stumbled him. Like he kind of got gotta get my balance like back.
With one of those overhands, you know, one of those rainbow shots.
But that's the thing. Sometimes guys that swing so wild like that, it's just hard. Like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, how are you gonna avoid that? How are you gonna avoid that the whole fight?
And when we practice that in the gym.
Yeah. Who's really coming at you?
Yeah, who's in the gym? You know, because if you think about it, any coach like, hey man, don't be throwing that silly ass shot. Throw straight down the middle. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really see that in the gym. You're not gonna see that in practice. That's why I always say. The most awkward guys, and this is what we always tell like the young guys when they go into MMA, it's hard to have we could go by what we see on the film, but it's hard to go on a game plan because right when you get in there, that game plan might need to be adjusted now. That game plan so there's really no game plan, but here, this is what we see, what he's good at, what he's not. But don't go in there so much as set on I'm gonna do this, because then you leave it in your head like, oh, I gotta do this, and now you forgot that you gotta adjust. So that whatever you might not be doing might not be working, you know.
It's talking about like young fighter game plans. If anything, game planning for like a young fighter, for like fighters like not that developed in their career, that's just a crapshoot because you don't even know who you're fighting. So how can you game plan? If anything, I would say game planning is kind of one of the things that you can really only do against someone that's established, right? Like if you fight somebody that's in, that's already professional, that has like 10 plus fights, you know
He's
what they're
not
gonna do,
changing.
right? Like
He's not
you,
gonna
you know
change.
what
That's what
Anderson
he said.
Silva's gonna do. Like
Exactly.
yeah,
He'll
he's
never
very
change.
good. He's very, very good, but he's not gonna. Anderson Silva's not gonna go up there double leg you.
Right.
If you fight Daniel Cormier, he's not gonna go up there head kick you. You're not gonna.
Right.
They're like very dangerous guys at their field, but they're very established though. Kind of what they're coming at you with. If you're going against a guy that has like one fight, maybe no fights, you have no idea what the hell this guy's gonna do. So why even try to get prepared for that?
Or even a guy that how many times have we looked and we've seen a fight or something like, oh wow, and then when we see him, oh this, or you can never really go off of just what you see, because how many times have we been in the back? Oh wow, this guy has hands, and then you go out there, it's like, what the hell? This guy can't even, like you said, he can't even fight his way out of a paper bag. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. And of course, the opposite of that too. We've seen guys like, oh man, this guy's trash. Like when we watched their previous fights, and they we just don't know. Like they've been hard at the gym actually working, and who knows, maybe that guy only had 2 months of striking training and actually came in and actually tried to like develop, and then oh wow, shit, this guy.
And that's the thing, when you're developing as an amateur MMA fighter. You got to understand, as you're developing, the other fighter that you're looking at is developing.
Yeah.
And
that's where you make the most leaps too. Like think about just how much of a leap from year 0 to year 1 is. That's a huge leap.
Right.
And like year 1 to year 2, I think that's still such a huge leap. Whereas if you go from year 7 to year 8, not really that big, like in terms of that. You get the improvement kind of gets smaller and smaller as the years go by. But yeah. But I mean, talking about going back to Rose, talk about in terms of that, I really haven't really seen. I mean, yeah, she came out on the scene, very dynamic, right? Like, she had a flying armbar, and then now she has striking, but it doesn't really look that dynamic in terms of that now. And especially if we're talking about who she's fought. Okay, beat Joanna twice. Joanna got in the Hall of Fame. That's one. I mean, that's a top strawweight right there. Right. Okay, split this. Got KO'd by Andrade, but then beat her. I mean, that could still be a trilogy. Who knows? But Andrade,
right?
Yeah, that could still be a matchup. She's still fighting a strawweight. The biggest thing, though, she beat Wei Li twice, and when she beat Wei Li the first time. Remember, that was that first round head kick.
Right, knocked her out,
and then they fought again. It was by decision, and arguably like close decision. And some people thought Wei Li won. But she still has 2 wins over that, and there's still that. But like, why aren't you trying to be back in that top picture? It makes no sense. That'd be like,
why are we here in these fights? To me, it's like it's just pointless.
Yeah,
for someone that's at her level, it just does not make sense. Yeah, and then you win this fight by a decision.
Yeah,
so
against someone honestly like Ribas, I don't really see her ever contending for the title. It's like,
I mean, how she. Man, didn't she just get submitted her last fight?
I think she goes like she goes like 1-1-1. She goes I think she wins 1, loses 1. That's kind of like her career. Let's see. So Amanda Ribas, because she won her last one by TKO, but before that she lost to Macy Barber. Then she won her last one, and then before that she lost to Kayleen Chookagian. Then she won her last one, and then before that she lost to I don't even know who Marina Rodriguez is. But that's kind of how she goes. She like wins 1, loses 1. She's just kind of, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, talk about she seems like a gatekeeper, like really at this point. She's inconsistent. She's really not going to get at this point. She doesn't show the consistent tools enough to actually be dangerous. So cool, she's like hanging in there, but I don't really think she's getting. And the fact that Rose didn't even look that impressive,
simply because there's not enough women to be fighting.
For sure.
Like, you can't cut a woman because there's nobody going to be in this weight class.
Yeah, exactly. Because in the roster, the top 15 is just whoever's in there already. Yeah. It's like, are there even 15? I can't even really name 15 flyweights, but maybe there are. Maybe there are in there. So that's the. It's just so shallow in terms of that, which kind of makes no sense to me why they added 125. Well, I guess even bantamweight has even less, but like, why didn't they put like a 105? I feel like with the atom weight, there's like so many. There's probably a lot more women that are like under 115 than there are over 115. I would say in terms of fighting, but hey, that's what they decided to go with. Yeah. All right. Sat one out. Okay. That's manage recording. Let's just stop it. Okay, back at it again. So back at it. Okay, well, that's pretty much us talking about Rose's career. But yeah, it just really makes no sense. I feel like, okay, if you're as a young fighter, you gotta maximize your money, right? If there's a strawweight title fight there, why aren't you taking it? Like, that just makes no sense to me, to leave money on the table like that. Like, there's like, I feel like she could go instant title shot if she wanted to, right? Would you say so? You had 2 wins over the champ.
Yeah.
If you have 2 wins over the champ, why would she not? And you don't think Wei Li wants that back too? Like, why wouldn't Wei Li want to beat her? Like, that just makes.
If you're not opening your mouth, say goodbye to the money.
Yeah.
Like, you should already be stirring up controversy now.
Yeah. Closed mouths don't get fed. Yeah. That's just how it goes, right?
That's what she should be saying when she comes down to the ring.
Yeah.
Instead of, I know I can.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. That makes no sense to me, though. Does that make no sense to you, Eddie? Like, if you had 2 wins over, like, the champ, like, why wouldn't you be calling them out? And if you could still make the weight class. And that's the thing, when I look at her.
Mercy, you know what I mean? Right off the bat, just to get.
Exactly. She already said something about better dead than red. She's gonna say something about communism, say like, yeah, we're gonna ban TikTok, and I'm gonna knock out Wei Li again. Something like that. Like that's easy.
Exactly.
It's like about the engineer KO on you. So something like that. But yeah, it's like, that just seems like, to me, like, looking at it, if I were like a coach or like that, it's like, that just makes no sense. Like, you got 2 wins over the champ, you can easily get back the title picture. That's like big money fight, because that's what you want to be, right? If you're here to, if it's prize fighting, if you're not fighting for a prize, why you there? So yeah, we're just here to hang out.
That's what it's there for. Ask Mayweather about prize fighting; he'll tell you about it. The whole thing is there to make money. That's why it's called prize fighting.
Maximize the money, and
exactly
that's the thing. Like, how do you go? It just seems like kind of a fall from grace. Like, how do you go from fighting in like title fights to now really being the main? I mean, yeah, you're the main event, but it's like an Apex card. I mean, not that that's bad, but it's like, come on, that's kind of lower tier, to be fair. Like, right? Like,
yeah,
it's like, actually, you kind of say it's lower tier. You're like, whoa, what happened?
She didn't get nothing out of this fight here.
Yeah, I felt like nothing happened. Like,
no ice.
Yeah,
no, I'm sure. She probably filled maybe 2 rows at the Apex. But I mean, I'm pretty sure the Apex must have been dead. I mean, sure. There's no way I could see how. What's the name? Must have been the loudest person in that room, Pat Barry, during that fight.
Yeah, probably Pat Barry during that thing. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, how do you go from being at the top of your sport to headlining Apex? I mean, you got to look at that as like, hey man, what the hell's happening here? Like, something's wrong.
Yeah, right? It's not COVID. It's not like you have to headline there. You know what I mean? COVID. It's you got to remember that when you're fighting at the Apex, there's 2 things that you could get out of it, right? Like, okay, this is my chance, because they hardly put top 15 fights in there.
That's the thing. They don't quite outright say it, but it's kind of like a starter show, right? You're not quite main event status, like,
right?
To be fair, like, that's kind of,
like, what was, I guess it's like, it's not back in the days no more where we only have the Palms Arena.
But that's essentially what Apex became, right? That's kind of like what it's like your fight night now. You got
like, remember when you go at the Palms? Yeah. It was like, I mean, hey, I saw Anderson Silva fight. He was like a main event there before, but that was back.
He wasn't champ. It wasn't champ then.
Exactly. Once you became that, you knew that you're gonna. Oh, I gotta spend $49.99 to watch him fight now. Damn.
Exactly. It's gotta be big money to get to see him. Exactly. Like, okay, who is the champ now would be on an Apex card, right? Like, right. You're not gonna see Islam on a Apex card. You won't see you won't see like Leon Edwards, any of those guys like there.
No.
Exactly.
Come on, you're not even gonna see like a Wonder Boy at Apex. I mean, I guess the best time that they put on the Apex show would probably be the end of the year, because it's like that's kind of like even like one of the last shows that they do anyway. So it's like, okay, we'll make this Apex one better. But
maybe kind of. But yeah, if you're there, I mean, to be fair, because that's the we're talking about. Who are the guys we're all talking about, right? Talking about guys that were in Tough or on the Contender Series. These are guys on the come up. I mean, yeah, I mean, they might be good, but they're not established right now. So the fact that they're guys looking to establish themselves, but
like I think the best fight that I've seen there in a long time must have been Curtis Blades. I mean, I'm not talking about like the best fight that happened, but like the well-known
like the
guys,
highest profile fight
would be Curtis Blades and the Russian.
Pavlovich.
Yeah,
Sergey Pavlovich.
Yeah, that would be like, that I've seen in a while. And then back, and then the one before that I could think would be Fiziev and Dos Anjos. So.
And to be fair, I mean, Fiziev wasn't even in. I mean, he was like top, but he wasn't like.
He wasn't there yet. Yeah.
He wasn't quite there yet. Yeah.
That fight actually kind of raised him above, and then he kind of wasn't even. He didn't even really do well after that.
So. But that was like the thing that took him to like, okay, now it's time to go to like, because then he ended up fighting Gagey and stuff like that. But that was the thing. He had to. This is when you make the step up in competition. But for Rose, it's the opposite. She's going stepping down. So hey, you got to take a look at your career. Like, hey, let's pump the brakes. What's happening here?
Right.
But I guess we'll just end off with that. As a fighter, you got to sometimes take a step back and just realize, hey, where are you going? Where are you going? But hey, that's why we're here. Fighters University, episode 4. It's called That Good. Hit us up. Like, got questions. Eddie Too Smooth on Instagram. It's still last days of March Madness.
Yes. March Madness. Come on down.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
Exactly. Again, we got, March about to end, but we got a host of fights coming up for our fighters in April. And I guess we'll be talking about that in the coming months. So, yeah. Cool. That's it for the show. Later, guys.
Have a good one.